Welcome everybody, welcome back to Pixels, Sprites and Nonsense, episode 2, season 2. I said those two in a way around, but everybody gets the point. So that's fantastic. How is everybody doing?
Doing great. It's Friday
Yeah.
again, so I'm always happy when it's Friday.
Fri-
It's game time and chill time.
Friday's a good day.
That's true. That's true.
And pizza too.
So with me here today is Vash.
Yeah, and I'm doing fine, by the way, too. So
Yeah, well, you already said you
fine
were
too,
doing
by the
fine.
way. Well, not really.
Okay.
I couldn't get a word in. No, I'm kidding.
Well, maybe that was
Anyway,
planned.
yeah, I'm here. Hi.
And Metzman's here as well.
Hello, I'm back again too.
So today we're going to try to talk about the same thing we were going to talk about last week or 2 weeks ago, which we absolutely didn't.
Yeah.
We were going to
Nope.
talk
What you were
about
planning on, yeah.
Yeah, we were going to talk about devs, to taking on projects that were previously with other devs. And this time we hope we will get to it. We do have a couple of news items we want to run through, but they're not that many. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and then let's get started with what we've been up to these last 2 weeks. I just lost my intro button. Where is it? There it is.
Technical issue.
It's not a technical issue, it's a idiotic issue. Okay, we're back on that note. So yeah, I moved stuff around on the Stream Deck and now I'm having trouble finding my buttons, so bear with me this session. So let's start right off the bat. Let's start with Metzman. What did you play the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I did not do a lot of new things, although I did try out some things just randomly. Of course, I played more Tarkov and I played more Starfield. Tarkov is, the usual story. It's a hate and love thing. But
Yeah.
I'm at the point where it's a build-up game where eventually the game starts to become a little bit more fun because you're gonna get a lot more money, and then you get I kind of get into a flow basically, and it becomes a little bit less stressful. So I'm in that spot now. And with Starfield, yeah, I'm still discovering things, exploring things, and getting deeper into the story. I finally hit one of the first big story plot points.
Nice.
Where it's the thing they hinted at the Star Wars Direct at the end, basically. So, but of course, it's still quite early in the story. But it's starting to catch on to the big things, the big plot points, and it's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
I'm also noticing more flaws in the game.
No, of course.
And one of my primary big flaw with this game is the dialogue and voice acting. And I think it is not really a problem with the actors. It's a problem with the script and how the game is presented. And mostly because characters don't really interact with each other, like physically.
Right. Yeah.
In animations. So I'm romancing a character, and the only thing that happens is you stare at each other and you say nice words to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no hugs, there's no kissing scene. Even like if you're getting married, which I did, it's just staring at each other and saying vows and oh, it's wonderful. No, I love you so much, and then you just go on with your missions. It's like okay.
That's part of my problem with Starfield and Bethesda in general is it feels like it's an animatronic playground.
Yeah.
They're just mannequins.
It's Westworld in beta.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So and it kind of hurts the experience. It's kind of immersion breaking.
Yeah,
I get that.
I'm still having a lot of fun with
what I'm seeing now. I've been there as well.
Yeah,
That
this
map.
base, of course, that's another thing. Repeating.
Well, no.
environments.
I think this is the same base I was at. The exact same base.
Yeah, but
So it's part of a story mission.
These mines are some of those are repeating. Like,
oh, seriously?
What I thought the game was gonna do is gonna section things together.
Yeah.
Right? Interiors, like the old dungeons. I think sometimes they did that.
Mhm.
in the Elder Scrolls game, but these are
Yeah.
basically like prefab bases,
Right.
and they get a whole bunch. But I've seen the same mine
Mm.
base like 3 times now.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of like I think they sometimes attach new parts to it. But
Right.
yeah, some of these big rooms where you're going down into a pit
Mhm.
are the same.
Okay.
They're
Got it.
just straight up the same.
Did you get to
Yeah.
They
the
have
point
some,
that you're
yeah.
just going around that room, knowing exactly where the spawns are, and so you there's a
Yeah.
suitcase over there that I can open, and
I'm not sure about that. Maybe some of those things are thrown around. I can
Mm.
imagine that there are certain spawn points for loot and things. Of course, loot is still going to be random and stuff, and you'll fight different enemies probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, the environments are all the same. Sometimes you'll just find the same, like this elevator, and it just becomes a little bit recognizable.
Right.
But yeah, I'm still having fun with the gameplay. The shooting is still fun to me. I'm still having a blast. But yes, the game definitely does have its flaws. So
Right.
yeah, they become a little bit more apparent. But I still feel like I'm in the beginning, especially story wise. Well, other than that, I've done some random things. Sometimes friends like say, let's go try this random Steam game that's free to play because why not? One of the first ones I tried is Expedition Agartha, which
Agatha.
is
Agatha.
Agartha.
Uh,
Goddamn stupid words. Uh, which is basically like Tarkov mixed with fantasy,
Mm.
much like a dark. Oh, is it Dark and Darker and stuff? Only this is
Right.
more like a tropical setting kind of thing. Which is it kind of combines the medieval combat with a Tarkov style. So you go around
Right.
loot. There's PvP and PvE with zombies and things and whatever,
okay.
Mm.
and you have to get to an exit spot and
Agartha.
to
Yeah.
extract. So it's kind of like Tarkov-ish, but with a like a cartoony, aesthetic
So magic
and
and that sort of stuff.
Does that
magic.
Okay.
does
Yeah.
the art style subject from the actual the Tarkov, you're constantly tense, but with this
Yeah.
game, because it's so
Oh.
colorful and cartoony, are you still
Well,
tense?
the problem with this game is that it wasn't very popular, so we didn't find a lot of players. And the
Mm.
one player that we did find was a Chinese guy with max level gear and everything, and he just whacked us all to death within like
Okay.
1 minute. So
Oh,
and that was
okay.
the end of our experience, by the way, as well. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Because
It
the game
does.
is basically, I think it became free to play. I think it was paid at first,
Okay.
and they just threw it open to the public. And I don't know. We tried it. It's a little wacky. There's a lot of things, especially in the beginning, where you have to learn so much stuff about
Mm.
different vendors and crafting. Like all the loot, you have to like figure out what to do with it. Of course, that's something that Tarkov has as well. But it's kind of weird to have it like this playful art style and everything, and then it doesn't feel user friendly somehow. It's very
Mm.
overwhelming, which is weird.
Okay.
But yeah, they tried. Then I tried a game called Farlight 84. And Farlight 84 is a game that if you combine every multiplayer cliche from the last 6 years and you combine it in one game experience, you get this game. So it has, it's basically Fortnite with Overwatch characters and
Okay.
what's it called? That BR game from Titanfall. The Titanfall
Apex
VR game.
Legends.
Yes, Apex
Right.
Legends style weapons and stuff.
Okay.
So the character designs are very like Overwatchy. With
Yeah.
you have like your starting character is basically a sort of a tracer type, and it's very it's full of microtransactions and everything.
Mm.
And
Of course.
it was kind of funny just to play this game, just to see what they were going to do with this.
hmm
It's funny enough because the game plays very smoothly. It's very easy to get into, and of course that's the whole thing, right? They want you to get into it,
Yeah.
and of course the first matches, like with many of these games, is against bots and easy targets, and they
hmm
want you to feel powerful, so you'll keep playing basically.
Right.
And of course earn loot boxes and stuff because
Yeah, it's
that's
very
the game.
Overwatch.
Yeah. So yeah, I played that for a little bit, but yeah, it was very obvious that this game was yeah, quintessentially we need to make money. Let's develop this game. Let's combine all the stuff that people like from all the other multiplayer things and do that. So and the last game that I tried is something that comes really, really close to Dark and Darker, but it's kind of getting a little bit of a spotlight because although it's almost a copy, almost like in even in like terms of animations when you're looting and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it does feel a lot more polished. It's a lot more um, fancy, basically, because I know the original Dark and Dark is a little bit like it's like a baked together project. They used assets and they even got in trouble for it, I think. They used like certain assets from another game to build that game, and this one is, I think, more built up from the ground. But it's very obvious that Dark and Darker is the big inspiration.
Right.
And I didn't really play Dark and Darker, so this was kind of like my first foot in that one. And for me personally, I do not like this experience, mostly
No.
because you're very slow and it's more like if you're fighting zombies or monsters or other players, it feels like a very rock paper scissors chess kind of. It's more about what you do, fighting based, what magic you use, what weapons you use, than like having your movement and dodging be a part of it. So it feels very constricting, like to me, where I'm trying to run away, but that is not a thing, right? Because people can just shoot you with an arrow or use magic on you. Uh, so I don't like that style. And there's also like there's traps around that I missed a lot. So I stepped into a lot of traps and stuff while fighting, and it became a little bit frustrating for me personally. Maybe I have to get back into it again later. But I was in that mode where I just wanted to try the game, and I got really frustrated, and I kind of rage quitted the game
Okay.
at a certain because I just felt like I was at a ball, like I had a ball and chain to my foot, basically.
Mhm.
Right.
So yeah, I
That's
tried
good.
that for a little bit, but yeah, not my thing.
Hmm.
And then the last thing I want to discuss is that I watched a documentary, which I backed. I was a backer for the project, and it was in its first-person shooter, or FPS first-person shooter is the full title. Which is it was a very long project. It's a 4-hour documentary, so you're getting a lot. And it's basically like all about first-person shooters. It's like the genesis. So they talk to the people that made the very first-person perspective games,
Yeah.
and you get to learn everything about how the genre started. Because a lot of people think it started with Wolfenstein or the one that it made before that, but it goes way back actually,
Mm-hmm.
and the inspiration for them. So it was kind of interesting, and of course, it's one of my favorite. It is my favorite genre of games. So yeah, you get to see a lot of developers talk about their games. Of course, they put spotlights on all the games that added to the genre. So it's not like you'll see every single like popular game ever, but they touch upon the popular ones that did something new or added to the genre. And yeah, it's a very good documentary. Even some obscure stuff like my beloved game Trespasser is in there. It's yeah, it's fun. So I watched that. It took like multiple sessions over a few days because it is a long documentary. But yeah, a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I was been doing the
So
last
how
couple of
long
weeks.
is long?
What do you mean?
What's the runtime of the documentary?
Oh yeah, it's 4 hours. So
Okay, that's quite
I
a
mean,
lot.
it's a lot of history. So
yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
All the big stuff had to be named, of course. So
Yeah.
Cool.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if you want to know more about it, you can go to fpsdoc.com. It's the website that links you to. I think they do a collab with what's it called? Limited Run for the
Yeah.
physical edition of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Limit
you
Run
get some
games,
extras
yeah.
with it too. So it's fun if you
Mhm.
really like FPS games, or you just wanted to know a lot more about the genre and why it got so popular and all the roots of it. Then it's really a fun watch.
Yeah.
Just have to spread it out over a couple of
Mhm.
evenings.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Mhm.
cool. So that was my activity for the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
Good stuff. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what about you, Vash?
Well, I've been continuing with well, sort of for a bit with Lost Judgment. I've also gotten pretty much back into Marvel Snap. I just like the card game a lot, and I started today with Archvale, which is a humble games published game, and I really like it. I already played it on Game Pass. I played it a bit on through the Vault because I'm a humble choice subscriber, and it's a combination of, well, it's sort of a bullet shooter, but also its own thing, sort of with at least at the start a hint to Zelda, because you start out with a single sword, and but it's a lot of fun. You can upgrade your weapons or make new ones, uh, gather resources, but it's still very much a bullet shooter.
It's very fast paced. I like that.
It
Yeah.
looks a lot like Forager. Even with the
Yeah,
rectangle, it kind of
yeah,
reminds me of Forager,
yeah.
which was
So this
also
is
a humble release, so it might be the same team.
was that a humble release? I don't
Yes,
think that.
Forager was a humble
Oh,
release.
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it might be. But yeah. So they I already, like I said, already played it on Game Pass, and I could, but now I have it on Steam as well. And because of there's a humble games bundle out of their own games, so there's some good games in there. But yeah, I like I said, I played it a long time ago. I got back into it because I got the game and I was like, okay, yeah, really want to play this again. So I made quite a bit of progress already,
Nice.
and there's still a lot of stuff to do. It can also be very very challenging.
It kind of also reminds me a little bit. What's it called? Oh my! The art style reminds me of another like dungeon crawly game. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the title. Never mind.
Well, it also kind of looks like Streets of Rogue.
Yeah.
Sort of the same vibe.
Which comes with a sequel that I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, which is more open
that's
world.
a future thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with also with more like outdoor environments and stuff.
Yeah, we played quite a bit of Streets of Rogue, right, Benjiro?
We did. We might have to get back to it because we played it up until the point that there was no more content, but that was a few years ago, so they probably updated that game.
There's a lot more stuff. Yeah. We should definitely get back into it. But one other game that we got back that we started out this week was Temtem.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
also,
what's Temtem?
A humble games. It's a Pokemon like game, but MMO. So there's other people running around. You can team up. You can do this completely in multiplayer in co-op. So that's fun.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Also quite challenging. And we had a couple of times that our Temtems were defeated. And there's some cute designs in there. Again, the gameplay, combat, everything is very much Pokemon, but it works and it's fun. I really like the style.
Yeah, it runs at 60 frames. It's completely online. You can play with other players like pretty much seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
We had some trouble
when the
getting
game
it going.
crashes.
Yeah, if the game crashes, it gives you like 60 seconds to get back into the game. So basically got locked out of doing anything for 60 seconds. It was a little bit boring.
Yeah, that was annoying as well.
Yeah, that wasn't that great. But
and it happened twice when we were playing.
Yeah, but only for you though. It worked fine for me.
I know.
But we played it on stream. We played it on Wednesday, I think, and it was pretty good. It was a nice experience. I think we played it for like 2 hours, and we'll definitely get back into it at some point. Probably next week we're gonna have another evening of Temtem for you guys. So that's fun.
Yep. Let's see. I think it's part of the Awesome Indies from Humble Games bundle as well. No, it's not. No, That's
I'm
not
not
it.
even sure if it's a humble game though.
Yeah, Temtem is.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure
I believe you.
it's published by them. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
I didn't know,
So,
but yeah, it's
mhm.
it's a fun humble game.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add?
Not really. There's some other games in the Humble Games bundle that I want to try. So one of them I already played, The Wild at Heart. It was in Game Pass. I didn't finish it, so now I can start all over again. Another title is Dodgeball Academia, because it's a dodgeball game that's pretty fun. So yeah, and what's also in the bundle is a game that I really enjoyed. It's an FPS game called Void Bastards.
Okay.
Oh, right. I still have to get to that one.
Yeah, it's fun. It's weird. I love the art style. It's very much a roguelike, but you go from spaceship to spaceship, and you have to find, do stuff on other spaceships, try and stay alive. But
Yeah.
the art style is it's kind of wacky. There's some weird characters in there, weird enemies, and it has a very funny British cast.
Okay, but you didn't play that.
For the
That's on
voices.
Humble Bundle. People can pick that up
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they want to. So,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
We're moving on to, I guess, what I played, and I only have one
Yes.
game I want to talk about, and that's Soul Hackers. So, I'm kind of big into the monster training and taming kind of games. Anyway, so
You don't say.
yeah, so I love the Shin Megami Tensei games, I love the Persona games, I
Yeah.
love the Pokemon games. Temtem's definitely up there, Cassette Beasts, and Soul Hackers was one I had a while back, and I picked it up quite a while ago, and I didn't play it, but then the actual season pass got on sale just last week, and you could pick it up for, I think, a tenner. So I picked that up and I started playing this game. I think I'm about 8 hours to 9 hours in. I'm not really fond of the art style. The art style's a little bit boring. It's very old school, even for Atlas's sake. Like, there are like these dungeons. The game is definitely not open world. You go from hub to hub. You're constantly just jumping from area to area. Kakarachu is in there, which is very funny because I'm also playing Judgment, so that's basically the same place. So yeah, you can summon, you can get these monsters. You can join. It's not a Persona video game, but it is the Persona video game. It's more Persona than Persona has like a day-to-day schedule that you have to do, which is fun, and then there's this whole social aspect to it. Not so much for this one. It's just basically the story moving forward, getting a lot of side quests and side activities that you can go through. Just run through dungeons, very old school, more reminiscent of Persona 3, which had Tartarus, which was what you were gonna run through. So this also had a big labyrinth that you basically run through. Not that happy about the art style. The art style's kind of weird. It's very it's not that clean. So it looks a little rough, but definitely a fun game to go through. You're basically playing this girl called Ringo, which means apple, and she doesn't look like an apple, so that's a little different and weird. But she's basically a supercomputer, and the world is about to end, and the supercomputer turns you into a human, and you're trying to save the world. So you had to save a few other summoners, and they died, and that's when you hacked their soul and brought them back to life, and that's why you're also able to summon these demons now. And the story progresses from there. So they get killed because they have some kind of special power inside of them, and the evil antagonist guy is trying to get that power. So he's killing off everybody so he can steal their power. For very basic story, but the done in a fun way. That's for sure. So yeah, to check it out. It's usually on sale. It's on sale pretty often. It's not It's also not one of the more expensive games, but definitely a fun one to check out if you're into these Atlas RPGs. It's I really enjoy it, and I think a lot of other people who are into those kind of games will as well.
Yeah, it's on my wish list. A lot of games are on my wish list, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
Very
fun.
odd.
So that's it for this segment. I think we're moving on to the next one. Without screen, there we go. Okay, so let's go through some of the big news articles. Let me just get my... Where is it? There it is. Okay, let's move on to the big news articles. So there are a few... not a lot of stuff happened, but there are a few
big
things.
stuff happened.
Well, not that big, but yeah, there is some stuff. So what we one thing we want to talk about is Jim Ryan retiring from PlayStation.
Yeah,
that is pretty big.
It's
news,
pretty big.
to be honest.
Is it bad news though?
I'm
Not
sure.
really.
I don't never know how much influence a man like that has still, right? In these years of his career.
I mean, to be honest, look, he's been at Sony since he was like 23.
Yeah, he's been there for 30 years.
Yeah. So that is and he worked himself upwards to the CEO position, which is awesome. I have to give him that. But he also managed to, get a lot of people against him. Not necessarily at PlayStation itself, but the things he said about certain games, like that he doesn't care about retro gaming, that he looked at, that he looked at the old Gran Turismo game a couple of years ago, and he said that why would anyone ever want to play this again? And that was for a lot of people that just didn't feel right. So he has a tendency to put his foot in his mouth. And but you have to admit, the PlayStation 5 is doing really well. They are kind of, leading the market right now. So, but like I said,
but is that
also
because of him? I doubt that's because of him.
I think it's also because of him. So, I mean, it's a continuation of the PlayStation 4.
He's also the one that is killing physical game media and brought PlayStation Now, a subscription service, over. He's also the one that decided to not retroactively, because that would have been a pain. Who decided that the PlayStation needed to be more expensive. So they went from the launch price, which was $500, to $550 in certain areas. Over here, for example. So now it's actually more expensive than it was on launch. Not a very popular move.
Nope.
So he's a numbers guy. He doesn't really. He's been at Sony. He hasn't been at PlayStation for over 30 years. So he doesn't bleed PlayStation. He bleeds Sony. He was.
No. He's been at PlayStation.
I know he's also been at the TV part of things.
No, well, maybe a short stint, but he started at SEEE.
Yeah. So the reason he's quit the reason he's quote unquote quitting is because he
retiring from PlayStation. Yeah.
Well, he's quitting, retiring because he doesn't want the commute anymore. Which, to be fair, is a very painful commute because his job is in the US and he lives in Europe. So that's,
in the UK. Yeah,
that's a very painful commute.
Yeah. That's not a very.
No, I get it. I get it, and yeah. So I mean, is it a big loss? I don't know. What are we gonna get next? Are we getting an interim CEO until they find a perfect new the one that fits the role?
Yeah.
But I don't think.
People naming Herman maybe as a possible.
I don't think Herman is going to do that. Herman is very much a creative person, so he wants to stick with the games themselves.
True, that's true. Yeah.
So, but whoever it's going to be, they do have some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Despite Jim Ryan messing up sometimes, but
Well,
Um,
apparently, if Xbox doesn't sell well, they can get Phil in 2027.
no, I don't think Phil is ever gonna leave Xbox. I think he's a lifer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, they said if Xbox doesn't become more profitable by 2027, Xbox division will shut down. So that's why I said they can
Yeah.
get Phil in 2027.
Oh, perhaps. I
Oh.
I think Phil would rather go to another company.
Probably
But
he
we
might
shall see.
he might leave gaming. But okay, that's enough about Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else anybody wants to add about Jim Ryan retiring?
Yeah, I think because if you've been in the biz or part of the entertainment industry as long as us, you kind of recognize the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think whenever there's a E3 or something like that, or the state of play nowadays, I don't think that any of the Zoomer generation really knows who he is when he
No.
ever comes on screen. It's this old because if you see him, he's like, oh, who's this old guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like the
He-
president of the United States, not like the head of
yeah,
a game
exactly.
company.
He even like how he talks and stuff about games.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
he's
think
so-
that. Yeah,
Well,
the
there's
image
no
is not
passion.
really, yeah.
There probably is passion, but it doesn't show on camera. He
I mean, he's
he doesn't have
British.
the charisma. I know, but even British people can be charismatic.
Oh, sure. But they don't always show their emotions.
Well, he
So-
doesn't have to show emotions. He has to show enthusiasm, and that's
Yeah.
not an emotion. That's a vibe.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he doesn't really, whenever he comes on screen, he doesn't really give up that vibe.
No.
Like
He's like,
saw a
I
lot
have
of,
to
like,
do
chat
this
was
because
like-
it's in my job description. I don't want to be here today.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think having a fresh face up there, just for the front face of PlayStation, might help a little bit. Just get some more energy and a little bit more of a
Yeah.
a gamer vibe, because
Mhm.
he is that old guy that has been in the company for so long. So
And it's
Yeah, it
okay if
doesn't
they
really gel
get
with the
an old
generation
CEO. It's absolutely fine if they get
Oh,
a
fine.
seasoned CEO, but don't put that guy in front of the
Mhm.
camera. Put someone else in front
Yeah.
of the camera and let someone else present
Yeah.
and just let.
He's not John Hammond, right? So
Yeah. Okay, next up, Knights of the Old Republic remake is slowly getting expunged from the internet. So Sony and the Embracer Group are trying to erase their steps.
Yep.
It seems like Knight of the Old Republic remake is cancelled.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, there's no official word yet, of course, but
No.
all the videos are being removed from YouTube and other places. So that is kind of worrying on one end.
Yeah, I have
but
a
it-
theory, by the way.
Mhm.
A personal theory. I think they saw Baldur's Gate 3 and they went
Mhm.
like, okay, we need to get back to the drawing board again,
Oh,
but we have to remove all our old media because it's going to be a long silence to get
Yeah.
this project restarted. That is
Yeah.
my personal theory.
a
I don't know
reboot
if
at this
that's-
point? I don't know, dude. It's
Because they've
it
been
could
like
be.
working on it. They've
It-
probably been working on it for a while. So
Yeah.
I love the idea,
So
but I
same.
would
But
have done that with a sequel, just like Baldur's Gate did. Like Baldur's Gate 3 was a completely different game. I would have done Knights of the Old Republic 3 and made that more akin to
make
Baldur's
that
Gate.
the Baldur's Gate like.
And just
maybe
leave the
that.
remake, because purists are gonna
Mhm.
hate it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, probably.
But
Yeah, you got a good point with that.
to be fair, purists were also gonna hate Final Fantasy VII remake, and no one
Mhm.
hated that game because it was just good. So yeah,
Oh,
I
Mhm.
might be
I
wrong
mean,
there.
I mean,
Yeah.
even remember when Baldur's Gate 3 was announced that it was gonna be turn-based. That a lot of people were like, "What? It's not
True.
real time with pause?"
True.
And now
Yeah.
everybody's like the opposite. It's really funny to see that. Now
Mhm.
everybody's defending it for
Yeah.
being turn-based.
I mean, it works for that game
Yeah, but
Yeah.
because
I
it
did see
definitely
some.
fits with.
I did see some people mentioning that they would have liked a
Mhm.
more life, a more actiony option.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Because
like an optional version.
not everybody likes turn-based, not everybody likes tactic games. So I do get that
True.
some people feel like they're left by the sidelines.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
With
But
which
in the case of in the case of this game, there's one thing. Embracer is firing a lot of people. They are closing down studios. They are because of that deal that went wrong. Is gone, which is a shame, I think. But
Yeah.
whatever. But this might be because of that. So either the project is canceled, or Sony said, "Oh, we're gonna go ahead with another team." I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Until we have any news, I don't think we can we can debate it all we want, but until
Yeah.
there's any news about a change in focus or it's being canceled entirely, yeah, it's all just guessing, I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
It is.
So yeah, it's a shame because I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it honestly felt like they were on their way when they announced it. I remember
Mm-hmm.
when they had the trailer, they had a little interview that it's gonna be a full remake, that they're gonna
Yeah.
rebuild it from scratch, and
Mm-hmm.
it's this big project, and everybody loves it, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like this. Suddenly, it's a little odd. Like something went wrong or something. But yeah, it's all
Yeah.
speculation at the end
Mm-hmm.
with this. So
speaking
Yeah.
about things going wrong, Epic laying off 900 employees.
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny. I saw this mentioned on Twitter or X a lot. Is that this is a great year for video games, but
Mm-hmm.
an awful year for people
Video.
in the industry,
Yeah. For
Well,
developers.
for developers. Yeah.
Yeah.
let's be
So
honest, it's never a good year for developers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a unicorn in the industry if you hold the same job for 5 years. If you're
yeah,
within the
that's
same
true.
company for
That
5
is true.
years, you're a freaking unicorn.
Yeah.
Or you're one of the
Yeah.
That is true.
legends. So did this
Mm-hmm.
for a literally an industry that makes more money than all the other entertainment industries combined, or close to the other entertainment industries
Yeah.
combined,
Yeah.
to have such a bad turnover and is burning through
Mm-hmm.
their employees
Yeah.
at such an exceptionally fast rate,
Yeah.
it's just bad.
It's mind-boggling that's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
the same thing as what is it? Square Enix. They had a few successes, and
Mm-hmm.
then they said like, what is it? Tomb Raider cost them a lot, and suddenly it wasn't up to snuff. And when we look at the numbers, you're like, really? Like you were making profits and it looked good,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
but somehow it's still they make those decisions that layoffs are necessary and
Mm-hmm.
projects are canceled or
Yeah.
it's so odd.
And the same with
Mm-hmm.
Epic.
Yeah,
Fortnite is still
yeah,
doing a lot of business. It's bringing
yeah,
in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
The
But oh,
but
sorry.
welcome to
But
you.
well, they also bought a lot of other companies. They bought other studios. They are laying off people, like half the team, I think, of the people that made Fall Guys.
really.
Yeah, they're laying a lot of people off there as well. They sold Bandcamp. I don't know why they bought Bandcamp, because I guess they could. And they're selling another company, or now they're spinning off another company. It's going to become independent. That is a marketing company. So I think Epic is downsizing in the fact, and they don't want to, because Todd Sweeney said that they had a lot of costs, more costs than they actually got in.
Yeah,
So even though Fortnite is making a lot of money, they lost a lot of money as well. So I think,
yes,
yeah, so
yeah,
it sucks for the people that work there. But I do have to say, they everybody who's affected by the job cuts will receive 6 months of base pay. So that is pretty good.
that softens it a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah. So they also get 6 months of Epic paid healthcare in the US, Canada, and Brazil. Because in other countries we don't have the system that they have there. So yeah, it's they are being taken care of for the next 6 months. So that is
Yeah.
good. I do have to admit that.
Yeah, and I already saw, of
yeah.
course, if you look at social media, all the people coming forward, yeah, I lost my job and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. They're already getting like offers,
Offers.
and
Yeah.
people, reeling them in. So
Yeah, but
Mhm.
offers are not
of
easy.
course, no.
If you're a game
of course,
developer, you have to. It's fine that you get a new job offer, but if you live in San Francisco, you get a job offer in Alaska. You have to
Yeah.
uproot.
Yeah.
And if you're by yourself, that's absolutely fine. You can just move
Yeah.
to a different
But when you
department.
have kids,
But if you have
Yeah.
kids and a wife and family, and you have to
Yeah.
uproot their entire life as well, it's terrible.
Mm. Okay,
Yes.
so there's a slight update on the Old Republic getting expunged. Sony themselves are blaming the music license issue. So that could be it.
That's
So
interesting.
we might be worrying about nothing. It's just a music license thing.
No,
so
that's why they removed the media, because
Yeah.
of music license. Oh,
Yeah.
John Williams is coming for them.
yeah, sort of. No, I don't know what music I don't remember what the song was they used, but apparently it's a music license issue according to Sony themselves. So
okay.
we'll see. We'll see. So
see.
we might not
That-
have to
yeah.
worry about what is going on with that project. It
Okay.
might still be in the works.
Updates.
Okay.
We need a soundbite for that one. Updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna create.
No, I'm gonna do it.
No.
I got this.
I'm-
I got this.
After this week, man, I'm.
Like a soundboard.
Okay. Just full disclosure. But Vash promised me
fine.
a few sound bites
Yep.
for a new thing
I
we were
was
gonna
gonna-
do, and
I
he
was gonna do it.
and we had a deadline for yesterday. I called him
Yep.
at 4 p.m. today. Like, Vash, I still didn't receive those files. And he said,
I'm just not happy with
He
it.
wasn't happy with it. He should have told me yesterday. He didn't.
I know.
So that's why I'm
Nope.
not trusting him with updates. So update is mine, buddy.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Okay.
I'll record one anyway. So
Yeah, that's fine. You can record one if it's better than the one I'm gonna conjure up. Fine.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna add my golden wine
I'm
in there
kidding.
somewhere.
yeah. Why?
So-
Why?
Why?
Anyway.
Let's move on. Just want to say, everybody who's affected by the layoffs at Epic, I wish you well, and I hope
And
you,
other companies.
you find a new job. And you don't have to uproot your entire family, and you're
Yeah.
able to get that working.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It always sucks.
Yeah, it absolutely sucks. We're moving on to for some people a more positive note. For other people, probably their stuff of nightmares. Activision Blizzard update. Microsoft
Oh, no.
Activision Blizzard deal gets preliminary approval from the UK regulator.
Here we go
Yes.
again. Yeah.
Yep.
So it looks like they're gonna they're gonna get the deal.
Yeah. Well,
It's gonna go on
for in the UK.
with some concessions.
Yeah, but now, of course, FTC is once again trying to throw a wrench into the system. So, yeah, it's going to take a little longer. But
it's gonna happen. So
it's going to happen now.
Yeah.
I mean, they can postpone it a little longer, maybe, but it's going to happen. So, yeah, that's it. That's the
that's a
update
big
on that.
move. Finally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now another one.
And-
That's
yeah.
That if that's it, that's it. We're trying to get the main topic out, and we're already we only have like half an hour left, so I'm
I know.
going through them as fast as
So-
possible. Next up, SAG-AFTRA members overwhelmingly vote in favor of authorizing video game strike.
Yep. So we currently have a strike in the movie industry. Well, we had two strikes. One for the Writers Guild Association and or Writers Guild Alliance. I don't know. Whatever. So that one is done. There's a deal. The writers won. They won overwhelmingly in Hollywood. So all the studios caved. So that's good. The same will happen starting next week for SAG-AFTRA in the movie industry. But they also started with talks yesterday with several game companies that are providing union work in voice acting for games, and some companies might be affected, like the one that works on Genshin Impact, but also Insomniac, because when the deal was struck back a couple of years ago, Insomniac was still independent. So they made an independent deal with SAG-AFTRA for the union stuff, and it's all for protecting the voice actors, the motion capture actors. With Stuntworks, you don't want to overwhelm people with their voices, because losing a voice for like 2 weeks is bad for a voice actor. So they are currently still in the talks, and they might strike, they might not strike, because we've seen what happens now in Hollywood with Hollywood. So they might be more favorable, the game companies. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll
it does have to happen. One thing I forgot to mention, by the way, when I was playing Expedition Agatha, is that all the NPC voices were AI generated.
Fuck off with that shit.
I laughed my ass off. It was so funny to hear.
It is terrible.
I first thought, well, this voice acting is off. And then I noticed that every single NPC was like literally a script being read by an AI voice. And I was like, wow, okay, so this is what they're fighting for.
Yeah.
Because it was bad. So apparently it's allowed on Steam somehow, but they're going to have to fight to get that blocked as well.
So but now there's also a good thing, by the way. This is related. Is that AI work is it's no longer feasible in Hollywood. Yeah. So this will have an effect on both comics, on games as well. Because if it's not copyrightable, if you have stuff in your game that isn't copyrightable, they can't use it to sell to if you want to, for example, make a Hollywood movie out of it because it's really popular.
Yeah,
that won't work.
No, they're very connected, of course, all these entertainment stuff. So that's gonna be good. I'm really happy that this is going this way.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really happy too. It's a good thing. But AI voices, oh my god, fuck off.
It was. Okay. It was so terrible. Bad. I think it's the first game like where I really noticed it. Like the first time was like, wait, this is a product that is out and playable by people. It was so bad. It is so bad. I was trying to see what it's like because it's it was hilarious, right? It's so bad. Okay. It's almost like I can't even pretend. I can't even like replicate it.
Okay. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know it's kind of monotone.
Okay. Yeah. Without further ado, we need to move on to the main topic.
That's fine. Let's hurry. No, I'm kidding.
So let's move on to our main topic. Okay. So the main topic is game. Well, we had a short returning topic. We're gonna skip that one for now. We're going to move on to our main topic, which are game franchises that did better or got a second wind under new development, and ones that might have not. Well, one of the easier examples is obviously Baldur's Gate 3. We already talked about it here, but there are more games. So 4 weeks ago, we actually wrote these down, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to discuss them. We're going to see if we agree or disagree with one another on their picks. So let's move on to that. So we're going to, let's see. Let's start, Mets. Let's start with you.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna do like good and bad, switching between or randomly. Yeah.
Just random.
All right. So let's talk about Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, because that is a very interesting thing. Very interesting story about it.
I mean, it's a spin-off, but
it's like a spin-off.
But it's still really the same franchise, right? It counts.
It was still a new game in the series that came after
in the same universe.
Another big game. So and I remember when it was first announced, it was very funny because we were like, "Oh, we're gonna get a Raiden specific game," and everybody was still like up in the air what kind of game it was. Was it gonna be like a Metal Gear Solid style stealth game, or were they gonna go more the combat route?
Yeah.
And of course, now we know that it became a very high octane, flashy combat game made by, of course, it was actually originally going to be made by Konami's team themselves,
Yeah.
the Metal Gear team, and then I think after a while, I think they got into time constraints or something like that, and so they asked Platinum to step in because,
Yeah.
of course, they had a lot of experience with these kind of games, and
Yeah, the people working there, because I don't think they had a lot of games out by then.
yeah, and I think
So
it also had to do with Kojima has a very like a slow pace in developing games, and they wanted the game to be developed by a studio that would pick up the pace basically. So they asked Platinum, and so we got Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which is it is a spin-off. It's a departure, but it still takes place in the same universe.
Yep.
Um,
It's very much over the top.
it's very over the top.
Very over the top.
It's got the Kojima thing, but it's also has its own style, its own little humor attached to that.
Yeah,
And
the Platinum Games
yeah.
treatment. Yeah.
So I thought it was fantastic. I
Same.
played it through. I finished it. The last boss is hilarious and hard.
Last boss is brilliant.
And of course, there's been a lot of memes about it recently. The game got popular because of that.
Yep.
Again, and it's very sad that there never was a second one. So
nope.
But yeah, great game in my honest opinion. So
I just love the meme. My source is I made it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there's so many good moments. There's so many good moments in this game. And there's even there's some very, there's some cool plot twists and bad guys having a good side moments.
And the music is brilliant.
The music is brilliant. There's some good jokes in there, visual gags, really Kojima style gags and stuff.
Yeah.
Over the top bosses, and the soundtrack indeed is fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good game, and I think this is fun. This is fun for a studio to be let's make this spin-off and do something crazy with it. It's kind of the same what Blood Dragon was for Far Cry.
Which is going to get an anime, by the way, on Netflix.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, this is a good one. So yeah, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, very good pickup for a different studio.
I want to mention one thing real quick. The song that you have to listen to is "Rules of Nature."
Yeah.
By Jamie Christopherson, because it's so good. It just when it hits in the game, it's just perfect.
Yeah, very early on in the first level, you get introduced to that magnificent song. So really good stuff. All right.
Great.
Who wants to go next?
Sure.
Benjiro.
No.
Oh. All right. I'll go then. So for me, it would be one of the best games. No, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the Metal Gear theme. It's gonna be Metal Gear Survive, which is a bad game.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a bad game.
It was good.
No, it was it was terrible. It was built on it was a spin-off, of course, because Kojima by then I think he already left.
Yeah, he left the company.
And yeah, he already left. And it's set in an alternate universe of after Metal Gear Solid 5. It uses the same engine, and it's like this weird crystal zombie thing in a different world. It's very. It just plays bad. It doesn't work.
Also,
it doesn't work at all.
It was the fall of Konami. This game was the start of the fall of Konami. They're kind of having a resurgence now, and they're starting to do slightly better. But I remember this game. Even if this game was good, the DLC for this game was terrible. You had to buy an additional save slot using your actual money. Because you could only have a singular character.
Yep. It's they fucked it up bad.
Yeah.
You know, and when you talk about bad DLC, that is like one of the biggest examples of it.
Yeah. I did see a video of someone going back to it, and after the first few hours, the game becomes okay, sort of. That's what he said. But
Okay.
not as a Metal
Mm,
Gear game, but
no.
as a game on its own. That
Right.
the game does have a certain hook to it if you're
Mhm.
into it. But yeah, it's as a Metal Gear game, it's that's not the same.
No.
It's basically Konami. Well, we have this engine, we have
Mhm.
this game world, we have these assets.
Yeah.
Let's try to make some money on it.
Yeah.
And they made a survival
Exactly.
game.
Yeah.
It's a really odd choice, and it's very very post Kojima Konami.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And they messed up a lot in that era. Looking at this footage, though, I kind of want to play Metal Gear Solid 5 again.
I've never finished
There's
it.
something about the animations that I
I
like.
didn't get through 5. Like 5 was
Yeah.
fine up until I think I played for 30 hours and then I just got
Mm.
bored. And
Yeah.
I left
No,
it.
but I do like the for Metal Gear Solid 5. I like the open world stuff and the way everything is animated. It just works for me.
Yeah,
So,
the problem with that
yeah.
the gameplay works for me, the story doesn't.
Mhm.
Because the story is
Okay,
never the
true.
story isn't finished.
No,
Like,
that's true.
The
Yeah,
game
that's another issue with
technically
that.
is
Yeah.
incomplete because they never
Yeah.
finish the story. So you have a lot of story in Act 1 and then you have a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
story in Act 2 and Act 3 basically has no story.
No, because it's missing.
Because it's missing because Kojima
Yeah.
didn't get to, finish the game,
Nope.
which is
So
Yeah.
dumb.
so yeah. I
Mhm.
think that's why I will never finish the game because it will never live up to the potential. Like if you played the first
Right.
2 acts, you
I get it.
basically played everything there is, and all the other stuff
Yeah.
is just placeholder.
Right.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna move over to the next one. Let's see if there's a good one. So the good one,
There's plenty of good ones.
Street of Rage 4. I think
Yeah,
Street
I
of
knew it.
Rage 4 is yeah, I was afraid you would pick it, honestly. I was like,
No,
no,
no.
you're gonna steal my Street of Rage.
I specifically didn't pick that
Okay,
one
fair enough.
because of that.
But
So.
yeah, it's a fantastic beat 'em up. I haven't enjoyed beat 'em ups in a very long time. And this one just got me back into it. It's
Mm.
fantastic. It has enough to bring the old school guard back in, and it has enough to be, the combo system is more extensive than it ever was. The music is just good. If I had an LP player, I would probably buy this on vinyl. Like honestly, it's that
Yeah.
good.
I would if I could.
There's good catchy tunes in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Literally every song in this game is just gold. It's
Okay.
absolutely fantastic. The co-op is good in this game. It feels like the
Mhm.
old game, but it's modernized for sure.
Yeah.
And you can actually just play the old characters. So if you play
Yeah.
enough, you unlock the old school characters. You can just you can taser arcade machine and play some of the old levels and fight some of the old bosses, and it looks completely like the old game.
Cool.
So there are just these fun throwbacks for people who played this game and who are old like
Yeah.
us and who played these games like 25 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
and they just brought it back. So yeah, Bare Knuckle or Street of Rage 4, fantastic game, and they did such a good job, bringing that back.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Cool.
So good. Metz, you're up.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna pick a good one.
Pick a good
Yeah.
Pick a good one.
I'm just gonna go random through the list. All right. So we have Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein has been quiet since basically since Return to Castle Wolfenstein, I think. Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
back
that was
then.
the
Yeah.
last one. Oh no, wait. There was a 2007 one with the Doom 3 engine. But that game didn't do anything.
Right.
But it
that was
didn't
on
do
Xbox
anything.
360 and PS3. And that game has disappeared in obscurity, by the way. The 2007 one.
Yeah. There was also a Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, which was a multiplayer game
Yeah, that was
around
basically attached
that era.
to the
Yeah, that
Yeah.
came out after that.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Return to Castle
Yeah,
Wolfenstein.
it
Yeah.
was more of a it was a separate thing
Mhm.
built on that.
Yeah.
But then Machine Games came along, and they had a little talk with id Software, and they were allowed to make a new Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And the fun thing is that I wasn't very sure what they were going to do with it.
Same.
Because I don't think anyone was really sure about this game. Because
Yeah.
okay, it's a shooter. It's over the top. It's gory. It's set in an
Mm-hmm.
alternate World War II setting, like basically like the original.
Yeah.
But it was everybody. I think everybody feared it was going to be like a little bit of a Call of Duty type shooter,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't going to be very deep. But then we played it, and it turns out
Mm-hmm.
it had a great story that
Yep.
really gripped you
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
with some really memorable segments in it.
Yeah.
It has an amazing, amazing graphics. The guns feel very good, and
Mm-hmm.
it had a lot of heart into it. There was a lot of heart to it. Like there
Yeah.
was a hub world where you could talk to characters, and you would go
Mm-hmm.
on missions basically from that place, and things would change along the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a very good action FPS game.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was just a blast, and I think it's one of those things. Usually, when a new studio picks up a game like this and then it's good, it's usually a passion project made by
Yeah.
fans,
Yeah.
and you can just tell with this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went full ham on it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of references to the old games as well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, great game. And very memorable. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
they had a few. They had a sequel, which
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that good in many
I
people's
enjoyed that
eyes,
one as
or
well.
it had some big flaws.
The
Mhm.
first
I think there
sequel
was
was
also a
okay.
DLC.
Like the second sequel was bad. The one with the twins.
Yes,
Yeah,
there was like
one with
a
his daughters.
intermediate thing, right?
Yeah.
There was like a DLC for
Oh
the
yeah, there
original
was the
game.
Old Blood. Yeah.
Yeah, the Old Blood.
That
Yeah,
was the
I think that one's
DLC.
still good.
Old Blood was
Yep.
still good.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
then
you
the,
had
yeah.
what was it?
Yeah, it's one with the two sisters was the latest one.
Yeah, that was the last one, and that one kind of
wasn't
fell flat.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did finish it. I did enjoy it.
Oh, I didn't play it. I heard it was bad
Yeah.
and I skipped. I already had a
Yeah.
hard time getting through Old Blood.
Right. And then there was the second one, of course. But yeah, I what I like about Wolfenstein is that they continued on from the story of the original game, or Spirit of Destiny. I'm not sure if that was the one. So the world has changed, and well, Germany won
Yeah.
in Europe. And then a couple of years later, you're playing as BJ Blazkowicz again, and it just works. It's also good that what really helped this game at the time, because of the rise of those neo-Nazis and those racists in the U.S., the marketing was just, they were going nuts on it.
Yeah.
Very
and unapologetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really worked as well for that for the new game. But yeah, it's a really good, a really good studio that took it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also helps that the story was a big part of it,
Mm-hmm.
because it not only do you like, you have fun shooting things, but
Mm-hmm.
you really want to know what happens next in this
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And it had a great build up as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, good game. So
Great game. Yeah.
Next up.
That'll be me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Should I do a bad game? No, I'm not gonna do a bad game yet. Let's do XCOM. Which it took a couple of years for a new XCOM to, I think a long time.
Very long time, yeah.
Very long time. And when it came back, the first XCOM game of the new series was really good. And the gameplay was still turn-based, but it was way more faster paced. There was a lot more action, great animations. Yeah, they did a really good job on everything. The base building was more simplified, but it also was challenging enough that
yeah, you had to kind of learn the flow of the game.
Yeah.
Especially if you play a game like this on like Iron Man, where every choice you make is final.
Yeah.
That's basically not a good idea to play this as the first time you do it.
No.
It's for me, it's also a little bit of a flaw, or not a flaw, but one of the things that I always had struggled a little bit with is that I had to play I have to start over a lot to learn like what kind of things should you focus on within your base and your upgrades.
Yeah.
Just to get through the later missions, because the
Mhm.
game is definitely becomes difficult.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's still the dice rolls, but you have to account that every move you make could fail.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of learning involved. But yeah, this
Mhm.
game, the first one of the two XCOM new games,
Mhm.
brought me into the turn-based stuff because I never
Nice.
really like the topic that we might discuss in the future. This is one of them,
Mhm.
where it was so I was just very enthralled by the whole, oh, what move should I make next? You know, just to get through the missions,
Yeah.
and I got addicted to it.
Nice.
And yes, the XCOM 2, their sequel was a step above it. It was a little bit
Mhm.
like it expanded a lot,
Yeah.
I'm
and
gonna
of course it also helped.
It
Yeah.
didn't hit
Mhm.
me the same. Like the I finished both of them, but the second one didn't hit me the same as the first one. The first one
Mm.
was definitely
Oh yeah, it had definitely had more impact
it was
for
more
sure.
True.
it felt more clean. Um
Mhm.
the
It was a
second
more
one just
streamlined.
the second one just started throwing a bunch of different enemy types at you, and the first one kind of we were building up to that.
Yeah.
Um
That is true.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you mean. Yeah, it got a little bit too. I think they wanted to do maybe a little too much for the second one.
yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe that was the
All of a
problem.
sudden
Yeah.
there are like
Yeah.
robot enemies and stuff. It just became
There
Yeah.
was a lot of things suddenly you had to like take into account.
Yeah.
It was like they stretched it, they expanded it a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. What I do love about this game is that I watched a lot of people play the first XCOM game and the second one, and I don't really watch Twitch streams from other people a lot.
Hmm.
But for this game, I watched a lot of different people play it, and it's always funny because they would name characters after people that you've been in chat with for a while and you kind of got to know, so that's always good.
Yeah.
But the RNG in this is brilliant. It's also kind of weird at times, but very unforgiving. But it's always funny to see. Oh, I'm gonna get this bastard alien with 99% surety, and then there's like standing right next to each other with a
Yeah.
shotgun, and then they still miss, and
Yeah.
that's always hilarious.
You get XCOM'd.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah,
it's fun.
one thing you mentioned as well is naming your characters and dressing them and
Hmm. Yeah,
creating, like, every character has a character creation basically.
yeah.
So you could have like legendary characters in your squad
Hmm.
that were in there for
Yeah.
multiple missions,
Yeah,
and you could lose them at any moment.
yeah. So
And yes, for streaming, that's really fun to have.
yeah.
Streamers have funny callbacks to other characters and stuff. So
Hmm.
I finished the first one
Yeah.
on stream, and Mariko was actually the main focus in the final cutscene. So she was basically the one who saved the world. It was
That's cool.
fantastic. I
That's
I
neat.
I still love that moment.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
You're
moving
up
on
next,
to
Benjiro.
a bad one, and I need you guys to defend this one. Or actually, I need you guys to explain why it's a bad one.
Okay.
Mm.
We're gonna talk
Oh.
about Metroid.rm.
I
So,
have no foot in this one.
Oh,
I have not played it.
who
I
put
did
it?
add it because I know it's bad, but
Why do you
know.
think it's bad? Because but people think it's bad because of the story, not because of the gameplay.
Oh, I thought it was the
Okay, we're
gameplay
gonna
as well.
skip over
But
this because there's no discussion to
Yeah, I
be
don't
had.
think we
apparently,
have. I don't think we have.
I thought it was a good game. It's not a great
No.
game, but the gameplay
Okay.
is still fine. It's just that
Okay.
the story, it turns into like semi-love story thing. It was a little weird,
Yeah,
and
that was it.
it
Yeah.
didn't feel like Metroid, but it wasn't a
Right.
bad game. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move to a different bad game.
Well, that is that's an interesting premise as well because different information does taint your perception of something.
Yeah. But
So,
I think
yeah.
that's a discussion for a different topic, like a game
Mhm.
that was perceived as bad, and why did you still love it? So I think
Right,
that's a
that's a
different
good point,
topic.
yeah.
I don't think that's for today,
Mhm.
and we might bring up
Right.
Metroid Other M in that one,
Yeah.
because I
All
don't
right, good point.
consider it a really bad game.
All
But
right.
someone else also added Halo, and specifically Halo Games Infinite. So it's probably the
Yes.
free Halo games.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite I was hoping it was going to be the redeeming game for 343 Studios. And then certain points they kind of did, but
Mm.
if we look at the campaign for Halo Infinite, I think they either didn't have enough time to fill up the game with good stuff, or they just don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Because I was okay with Halo 4. It
Mhm.
was already feeling different. As a campaign,
True.
it felt a little bit more like a corridor shooter and less the sandbox game
Mhm.
that the others were.
Mhm.
And Halo 5 was weird because it felt almost like a Netflix series episode,
Mm.
with these different characters trying to be pitted against each other, and the marketing was weird for that one.
Yeah, and all of a
And
sudden you had Nathan Fillion playing a part.
yeah,
And
they
Mhm.
brought back Cortana again because why did they have why like some really weird story choices.
Mhm.
But with Infinite feels so weird because I was expecting like a big epic campaign because we have an open world now,
Yeah.
so you can do so much with that. You can have big battles and
Mhm.
all that stuff. And then I discovered that almost 90% of all the story bits are underground in that game,
Mm.
in the corridors, in
Wow.
indoors, because they can contain story moments in that.
Right.
And it felt like a side story. It felt like
Mm.
you missed the party because it
Yeah.
begins like with a cutscene where Master Chief is in a battle,
Mhm.
and you kind of crash land on, or you like get picked up by one lonely survivor from that battle, and then you and that other survivor are going to explore a huge environment where like the battle has been won by the enemy, sort of, and
Mm.
there's one adversary and one general that's still around, and that's your big bad guy. And everything else is everything you find about what happened there is audio logs, dead bodies, and other like hints at what could have been. And it felt so
Shame.
it even felt short. Like I was like, oh, and suddenly the campaign was over. There's this little reveal about like a new race that emerges from that specific ring where you're on, but it's like a side note, and I don't even like remember if it was important.
Hmm.
And the new sort of Cortana character is like a replacement. They basically said, okay, we're gonna accept that the old Cortana is gone. Here's a new Cortana, which has the same voice actress, a little bit pitched a little higher, a little bit different personality, but
Mm.
they set her up as, okay, this is your new Cortana for the next Halo games we're gonna make. And it felt flat for me. It was I
Right.
expected like cool like battle scenes with multiple like, because the old Halo games had Sergeant Johnson, you had the Arbiter, you had all
Right.
these factions and characters that were like, you were like felt invested in this big war, like a Star
Mhm.
Wars movie with all these like cool dudes fighting side by side with you. And here you like, okay, there's one engineer, one pilot character, and this Cortana, and that's it. And for the
Mm.
rest, you're just fighting this general that is, talking at you every once in a while, and then you fight him in the end with
Mm.
his like so that it felt so, yeah, like a missed opportunity. They could have done so much with it.
Right.
Wouldn't
um
it be better
and
if they just killed Halo? Like just end the franchise.
you, you know what I think they could have done something great, and that's why I'm so disappointed,
Yeah.
is that they didn't use their open world to make cool set pieces. They made a very big world with lots of little side content you could do. You could like free bases, kill like big enemy or like mini bosses,
Mhm.
and that was it. It was a big open world full of side content, and then
Yeah.
the campaign was this little line
Yeah.
that
Mm.
was like underground that you followed.
Right.
I,
And the
So
multiplayer, how was that? Because
yeah, the multiplayer is actually not that bad,
hmm,
but it lacked a lot of content, especially at the beginning.
right.
It felt like it was stripped, and there
Mm.
were some things stripped, like split screen and some other
Mhm.
features.
Mhm.
Because the gameplay feel of the game, I had a lot of fun with it.
but it
I'm a
felt
big
like you had
fan
to
of the
play
big,
together with someone else.
yeah, and it's I
Mm.
still like the big team battle stuff. That's what I always loved in the original Halo games, where it's just chaos and vehicles and physics,
Yeah.
people rolling over ledges, and cool battles. That's still in there, but there's like you're always playing the same maps, like the same 3-4 maps, and I
Wow.
I kind of understood why people got frustrated with
Mm-hmm.
waiting. We were
Yeah.
constantly waiting for new stuff, and it just
Yeah.
didn't happen. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
sad because they definitely worked on the feel of the FPS gameplay. The grappling hook and all that stuff is fantastic. The gameplay itself is not the problem in Halo Infinite. The mechanics work and they're fun, but it's the content that is
Mm-hmm.
kind of lacking.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah,
so
that's a
yeah,
shame. If you
yeah,
don't have
it's a
content,
shame. Yeah.
No. No.
And also it didn't perform very well the game, at least at start. I just remember struggling with the frame rate as well in certain parts. And Halo was always a very fluid experience, so
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of a bummer for me personally. But I didn't have my new PC back then, so maybe that was a big
It ran
factor on it.
fine for me, so that might
Yeah,
have been a PC issue.
yeah. I mean, my
Yeah.
current PC is up to the task, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, back then at launch, it was. I remember struggling a little bit, especially when you get to the open world part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was kind of I was disappointed, but mostly just the idea that they could have done so much with it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at this gameplay, yes, it has its moments. It is fun to battle enemies in that game.
I enjoyed the
But it
gameplay. The gameplay was fine.
Yeah, and that's not the problem. It's the dressing, it's the content, the story.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like a side note. So
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
me personally. I don't like. I've seen a lot of people defend the game as well, online,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
I mean, there's always people that defend the
Yeah.
game. So
But everybody likes something different, so that's it's difficult to gauge that. So
yeah.
that was my personal thing with that.
Okay, we're gonna
Mhm.
do one more good and one more bad, and then we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
guys pick.
Well, I personally really want to talk about Max Payne 3.
Yes, explain
Because
that one to me, because that one for me is bad. I don't like. I don't like Max Payne 3.
Okay.
I haven't played it yet.
I thought
played
the
1 and 2. I
I thought the
You haven't
character
played it yet?
was
No.
the way Max is portrayed is
Mhm.
he's just a drunken, angry, depressed
Yeah.
guy.
Yep.
So the story didn't hit with me. I really disliked basically everything about it. It felt like a Max Payne version of Kane and Lynch. But that's to me.
Okay.
And I didn't
Well-
like. Well, I liked Kane and Lynch because we played it together, and we only liked the first one. The second one we didn't.
Mm.
But yeah, Max Payne 3. I liked Max Payne 1. I liked Max Payne 2 back when it was with Remedy. But when
Mhm.
Rockstar took it over, it just it lost its feeling for me.
Okay, that's cool.
So
I really
explain why
enjoyed
it's
it.
good.
Okay, so the gameplay is very solid. It works. The bullet time, everything. It feels good. It's it's very different. It's very more modern, of course. It's it was newer than Max Payne 1 and 2. But for me, it really worked on the gameplay side. The story, okay, I admit it might not. It's okay. It's very dark, as you kind of expect from a Max Payne game, of course. But for me, it was everything about it just worked. The music was really good. It was a soundtrack done by the band Health, and it just hit. There's one of the last levels. When the song comes in, it just feels epic, and it works for me.
Yeah, obviously I didn't get that far. I didn't play until the last levels. I think I played it for about 2 to 3 hours. It was like, this isn't for me.
No, that's okay. I mean, not every game has to be for
everyone. I get that. So that's why I'd love to hear your perspective on this.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
one thing that I notice when I look at this game, right,
Mhm.
is that for me, I haven't played the game, but I always, when I see this game in action and I see the cutscenes in the setting, it's a totally different vibe from Max
Yeah,
Payne 1
it
and 2,
is.
which are film
True.
noir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was more like an action movie,
Mm-hmm.
like a was it
The
late 80s
Expendables.
action movie?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
More like a Die Hard, basically.
Rambo.
That's what I
Sort
would
of.
say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
a
can
Die
see
Hard
that.
film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, it's always switching it up and
Mm-hmm.
changing the palette
Mm-hmm.
is not always bad, but
Yeah.
I kind of it just doesn't feel like Max Payne. The only thing, of course, the bullet time and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, that's definitely
It's
Max Payne.
yeah. I mean,
But-
it's also a different setting.
Yeah,
I mean, you're in Brazil,
yeah,
so that already changes up some things, but it's still very gritty. So they didn't go with the noir that much, but they did go with the very a
Grungy.
dark and gritty story.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot more color, but in Brazil, because you also play a bit in New York, of course.
There's
But-
some flashbacks, right, or something like that.
Yeah. And everything for me, just everything worked. There's still a lot of the same stuff in there, like some of the, those TVs that play stuff.
Yeah. That's the fun
There's
stuff.
still a bit of that in there.
But that's
but-
very Remedy though,
Yeah.
and not really Rockstar.
No. But I mean, they still took that some
They
things
took
from
that
that.
idea. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. It felt like like you said, it does feel like an action movie more, dark and gritty action movie. But I did enjoy the story,
Mm.
and the things that just happen. But the gameplay is just the best.
Yeah.
That's the best part
that's
of
the
this
main
entire
focus
game.
of this game.
Yeah, that's definitely the main focus of the game.
Mm.
So yeah, like I said, I think they did a good job. I know that a lot of people didn't really like it, but there's just something for me when you jump down a flight of stairs in a stadium, and then killing like 3 or 4 guys right after each other. It just works.
Yeah. It's
It feels
one of those
good.
Yeah, it's one of those gameplay loops that just keeps
Yeah.
being fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah. So you do feel like an action movie star
Mm.
in that regard. Yeah.
Cool.
So I think they did a good job. It's not perfect, but
Do you expect there to be a sequel? Like, is there gonna be another Max Payne?
Well, they're going to be remaking one. Well, they're already remaking.
yeah,
one and
Remedy
two.
is
At the
working on 1 and 2, of course.
There
But
might be a start.
yeah, they
but-
might get the license back since Rockstar is not doing anything with it.
Maybe after Alan Wake 2, they're like going
Yeah.
back.
There's a distinct possibility that will happen.
Alan Wake 2 still hurts me though.
Hurts you?
Yeah,
Hurt you?
no physical edition.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
It still hurts me.
Yeah, it sucks. It's a damn shame they're doing that. But they got. I mean, Remedy got the license for Alan Wake back
Yeah.
from Microsoft, so they might get this bound back as well.
Yeah.
Who
I
knows?
don't know. I mean, the remakes are a lot of work. I think they just had they had like a little information about that. They were like, just hold out, guys. It's a big project because they're combining 1 and 2 into one big story.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be separate games. It's going to be one big remake of 1 and 2.
Oh, that's going to be
together.
interesting. Yeah, I wonder
they're
whose
gonna
face they're
fuse
going to use.
Yeah, that's the big question, huh? Which face is it going to be? Is it going to be, the guy, or is it going to be a new creation?
Yeah.
All right.
But it's this game that really got me into the band Health, because they had some very good songs after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool if you can get if you get something from that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
So my
moving
last
on.
choice. Yeah.
I think it's Benjiro's time.
No, I said you guys
Turn.
can pick the final 2 games.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So bad
I'm gonna
game?
pick another controversial one.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about DMC.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's a good one. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Because I loved this game. Okay.
You loved it.
This is me.
Okay.
I am not a Devil May Cry fan. All right. I didn't ever fully play those old games. I did play them at friends and stuff, but I was never a big fan of the series or anything. And then I noticed, because I was a big fan of the developer, which
Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory, who made Enslaved, one of my favorite
Odyssey to the
unknown
West.
titles
Yeah,
on the Xbox 360.
great game.
And I heard they were gonna make the next Devil May Cry, and I was like, oh, that's cool. They're gonna give it to that studio. That's interesting. And when it was first announced, the first teaser trailers or something, they had this emo Dante, which was they changed the design later a little bit. But they had like a very, and everybody, even including me, was like, "Oh God, this is gonna go so wrong."
Yep.
And then the game came out, and or at least a demo came out. I remember the demo coming out, and I played it, and I was like, "Wait, this is actually fun."
Really?
Yes,
Huh.
me personally, I liked it because it of course it's a very Western take on the story. It's an origin story. There's like a different style to it. It's a little bit more serious in terms of storytelling. It still has the jokes and the crazy stuff.
It starts with a joke, though. That's the joke I love the most, where he actually gets the white wig on. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, not a chance or something. He says something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that was fun. I think that was like a funny joke. Like, okay, I'm not sure like what was going on in that studio, because I totally understand the hate that the game gets. Okay, because it's so different, right? It's not that Japanese style of combat anymore. It's
and that's why it didn't work for me.
Over the top jokes and but it still had a little bit of that, like the opening scene where he dresses up and there's like piece of pizza flying in front of his junk.
It still has it still has a juggle mechanic. You still work towards a rank. You're still trying to keep that.
So that was my big takeaway, is that the gameplay itself was still good. And
There's a lot more verticality in this one, though.
Yeah, and I love the environments that were very dynamic, and things would like break apart, and
you would have like the real world, and then you would have like the demon world, and they would.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, for me personally, I remember having a lot of fun with it, and but I also understand the other side.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I understand that they never were allowed to make another one. They did some DLC for it, and then they cut it off. And then they came with Devil May Cry 5, I think.
Yeah, Devil May Cry 5 came a couple of years later,
which was absolutely fantastic. Well, 5 is such a good game.
Oh, it's so good. But the thing is, I loved their games, Ninja Theories.
Yeah.
Heavenly Sword, when it first came out on PlayStation 3, I really enjoyed it. It was different.
I think Heavenly Sword was actually a bad game.
Oh, okay.
It was short. It felt like a tech demo. Short. It felt like a tech demo.
Okay. So they didn't have enough time to flesh it out a bit more. But the combat worked for me. And then they did Enslaved, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
It was that game deserved a lot more than it got.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun game. Great platforming mechanics and that sort of stuff. But this just didn't work for me. It didn't feel good for me. It didn't feel right at all. The wig joke was okay. It was funny, but it didn't really land with me. And then what I played of the game, it's one of the games that I didn't want to finish at all.
Okay.
Not because it was so good that I didn't want to stop the story. No, it just, I don't know. I stopped playing at some point, and I didn't care at all for it.
I didn't finish it. I didn't finish it. I got to Bob. Bob was the TV executive that you have to kill him.
The Alex Jones joke, basically. Yeah.
So I think I defeated Bob, and after that I fell off. But I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was a great game, but it was okay.
Funny thing about the hair thing, though, is that at the end he does change. His hair color changes. By the way, I think that's a detail a lot of people forget. Is that, of course, you had to transform into real Dante at the end.
Okay. But that's only they only did that because of all the backlash.
No, that's the
no. It was part of the story. There's a reason why it happens.
Right.
The thing they did because of the backlash was the joke at the beginning. That's what they did because of the backlash.
All right. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I it's funny. I have fun memories of this game, and I don't play a lot of these games, so it
Okay.
had to do something right. So
Right. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but yeah,
That's cool.
that's personal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
do understand the other side as well.
Yeah, because the first game that I played, the first Devil May Cry, when it came out, I was like, yeah, this shit is awesome. And of course, Dante was very edgy at the time, very shallow, very edgy. So when you're a teenager, or young adult, you do
Rebel
kind of
guy.
yeah, it does speak to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked for me at the time. But I do like that he grew throughout the series a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, same studio, but different people working on it. Devil May Cry 3 didn't get well received that much.
I think it was 2, right? 2 was the black
What's
sheep
it?
of the series.
Oh yeah, I think
2 was the
2,
bad one.
Back to
3
Fawn.
was actually
yeah,
really
2
good.
was the bad one. Well, yeah, true. That was it. But not a lot of people like the style of the way Dante looked in 3 with this belt across his chest.
Okay.
I think more
But-
people had problems with 4 when they introduced Nero. I think that's
Yeah,
a big problem.
Yeah, but Nero got redeemed in Devil May Cry 5 because he's really fun to play with. Different play style, but yeah. Of course, Devil May Cry 1 is spun out of Resident Evil,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. Resident Evil After Resident Evil 2, Hideki Kamiya didn't want to do another one. No. During the development of Resident Evil 2, they changed everything up, and that's how. No, it was Resident Evil 4. That was it. Sorry, Resident Evil 4. They wanted Kamiya back, but he's not a big fan of sequels. And during development, he just spun it off into Devil May Cry. So that was the story. Yeah, and it's very interesting that after Devil May Cry, he didn't want to do another Devil May Cry. So that's why we got number 2.
Yet he made 3 by Bayonettas, guys. He made 3 Bayonetta games.
No. He made the first one. The rest he's just producer or story. He just did the story. So
Still, he wrote the sequels.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's not a big sequel fan.
He's also not a big Platinum fan.
No, he left. Yep, he left the studio. He left the studio.
One thing that I do have to also commend Ninja Theory 4 with
Uh-huh.
this game is they did make a Devil May Cry game, like as in gameplay mechanics wise.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Heavenly Sword, it is kind of
It's
the
very
same
different.
genre.
It's very different.
But Enslaved is a completely different game, and they got the juggling in correct. The combat felt good. The upgrade system, the cool little weapons and fists and things you get along the way. It was like mechanically to make a game like that and feel like mostly feel good.
Yeah.
That just being asked as a studio to do that's pretty daunting as well. So I think for the studio itself, it was kind of a cool victory.
Yep.
But yeah, it kind of hurts when you have a whole fan base that beats you over the head for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wound up good. So at the end, Ninja Theory. So.
Oh yeah, Hellblade is really good. Yeah.
And they're working on the sequel.
Oh man. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is also looking really good. So.
Okay, thank you guys for your input. I think we're past the main topic.
Oh yeah.
And that also means we're at the end of the podcast for today. So without further ado, Metzman, where can people find you in the next 2 weeks?
The next 2 weeks. I'm still gonna be on X a lot. I heard that Elon is planning to do some bad stuff on there though. So nowadays I should add that to the thing. I'm also on Blue Sky. Under the same name, Metzman. But yeah, it's you can find it on my X/Twitter account. I do have a link tree in my profile, so you can find all my links on there as well. I think that's the easiest way to find me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do stuff like that. I Twitch stream sometimes if I feel like it. Usually in the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm most active on X at the moment. So
Oh, thank you for joining the podcast
Yeah.
this week, and
Of course.
of course.
and Vash, what about you?
Well, I'm sorry, my nose just my allergies just started up.
Oh
So I'm
God.
looking for I don't have any tissues around me right now, so that's really annoying.
Emergency.
Anyway, I just can keep my head up right like this. No. I'm sort of still on Twitter. I refuse to call it that other name.
Yeah.
Because it's getting really bad at there. But I did get into Blue Sky a little while back. So yeah, it's PV by PV biking at both still for now. So PVBAIKUN, and I'm I think mostly active on Blue Sky. So if you get an invite, get on there because it feels a bit better than Twitter does right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a closed community sort of, and you don't have
Sort
all
of, yeah.
those bots and stuff because
Mhm.
it's invite only, so that helps a lot
Yeah.
with the flow of the
Yeah.
of the stuffs.
And they're expanding it. So yeah, it's currently I think there was only like 1 million invites for so far, but they're expanding it to 10 million.
Yeah.
So people are gonna get invited more, and at some point they're gonna join the Fediverse, as they call it, which means it's federated and it's decentralized, and you can find people on Mastodon and other similar federated services. So yeah.
Oh, I
Thank you.
actually have one invite code available. So
Oh, same
if
here.
you follow me on on Twitter,
Yeah.
and you really want to get on Blue Sky, hit me up, and I might just send you a DM with the code.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Vash, you also.
And you?
Thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
You
No problem, of course.
You can find me on. I am gonna say it. Actually, you can find me on @Pixels Sprites, and on Blue Sky you can find me on Pixels and Sprites. We're gonna be adding those fairly soon. I'll probably be streaming by the end of the week or somewhere during next week. We're gonna be hopefully have Temtem show up one more time, and we might stream some. Well, I can't believe the name of Soul Hackers too. We might stream some Soul Hackers. So the name just eluded me. That's great. Or some One Piece. I don't know. Pirate Warrior thing.
Yeah.
But we might stream
Yeah,
that
you
as
got
well.
Pirate Warriors 4.
But we'll
yeah.
see.
So I
anyway,
did platinum them that last week, by the way.
Yeah, but you forgot to mention that. But okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's a fun game. I really love the Muso games. So
yeah, me too.
Anyway, sorry to interject. I didn't mean to.
Yes, you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done
It was very important info. I just had to say something about it because I really love that game.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Yay.
Okay, so everybody, thank you for watching. We're thinking of maybe moving this to YouTube, but I might reconsider since we're having like between the 8 and 10 viewers, which is a high for this.
Yeah,
welcome.
Surprising amount of viewers today.
So we might stick around on Twitch. So everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will be back in 2 weeks. This is a bi-weekly thing we do.
Just for fun.
Yeah. So we'll hope to see you guys next time.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.